Virginia Gray Recreation Center, and we are here with our friends with the Sizemore Group. This is the second of 4 community engagement opportunities we are doing for our facilities master plan. A facilities master plan is a map of what we are going to do with the county over the next 25 years to facilitate services to the public. So we've already had engagement with the directors to understand how they plan to engage the public. We've reached out and had conversations with some of the commissioners. And in this part of the process, we're engaging the public to understand more specifically how you use the facilities. The Sizemore Group, Lily Barrios is here, and some others. The presentation is about 20-something slides, 23 slides, 24 slides. And it speaks to some of the work they've done with census data and forecasting, some of the median home incomes, and some of the other impactful metrics that are going to help us define how we as a county are going to provide services to the citizens, which is the most important part of the county. I will not belabor the point, and I'll pass it over to my friend Lily.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today. Let me introduce a couple of our team members. Deanna, and Ben, you mentioned that we're looking at multiple layers of this. Deanna will take a part of this presentation to introduce a little bit of the perspective of the comprehensive planning effort that our firm is also doing, which influences this plan. And I also have Ashlyn as part of our team, so you will see her as we document, the conversations. So I'm going to give you an overview of the process real quick, and then we'll dive into the bigger picture findings, and then to the meat, which is really to hear from you about the facilities and how you're using them today. This is the overall intent. I'm not going to belabor it because I think that Ben just did a great job at really kind of framing what ultimately we are trying to do, which is really to get a plan, a roadmap for the facilities that you're going to need in the future, and what are the orders of priorities, and to integrate some of these other efforts. So it's not just the demographics. You will hear Deanna presenting from other components like the comp plan and all of those. So we have already had conversations about goals. Ben alluded to looking at the facilities, having had conversations already with heads of the departments and the functions, so we get a sense for how they operate and what they need in terms of space, and we've looked at demographics. You will get that. We are now in that part where we are engaging the various folks, specifically the bigger circle, which are the constituents, people like you, the stakeholders, right? So we've had conversations at the core level, we've had conversations with the commissioners and the department's heads, and now we're reaching out and getting sort of that input in the process at the moment, which then will circle back, to the top and begin to inform our recommendations. The first thing is just to put in front of you the county map, if you will, and to give you a sense for where facilities are located. We got them. I guess I got the map right behind me, as a matter of fact, and feel free to, at any point you want to come over and put some stickies and notes, we will record that accordingly. Source of information number 1, that first layer has to do with demographics. We just went out and got a sense for the population, where it is today, and then we looked at where things are going to be in the future. And you're going to see that in a couple of maps that I'll show. Most of that was driven by, narrowing down the 2020 census tracts. And so that informed, our benchmarking, our baseline of 2023, and as we move forward. And what that really, kind of tells us is this map illustrates just a snapshot of where on the far left hand you will have, you see 2023, an estimate of where things were at the time. And then if we look forward 5 years, which is the first kind of picture we wanted to take, it's an approximation of where the estimated population is going to be. If you look, the easiest way to look at this, the darker it is, the more people there are, right? And this particular district is somewhat kind of in that area. There are no radical changes. There might be a few pockets. If you look at this map, which tells you the difference, the pink just indicates there are a couple of places where you may be just trending a little bit down in the population, but in general, there are no really radical changes within the district itself. And then that is median income, household income. Left hand being 23, middle being 28, and then the difference. No radical changes. That's it if we kind of blow it up now a little bit more and just look at the district itself. This is in 2028. Population, household income. And now starts the fun part. I'm going to go back to that asset map, in other words, what the county has right now in terms of existing. And I'm going to invite Deanna to come forward because her team, which is part of also Sizemore Group, Ashlyn, you've been a part of it too, has been looking at the comp plan. So you kind of have several components. It's not just what the county has itself, but other things they can leverage, right?
Yep. Yeah, so the comprehensive plan is a comprehensive plan for the future of the county, specifically looking at how do we develop as we move forward. So our focus is really a lot of land use. We're looking at strategy for each department. So building and maintenance is a part of that plan, but we're talking to all the departments. So simultaneously doing that study with this has really helped us get a good understanding of what's going on in the county and what the desires and wants are. But we started with an understanding of what the existing assets are in the county, everything from places of great development opportunity to actual physical assets in terms of recreation centers, reservoirs, parks, and stuff like that. And then we've worked with a couple different opportunities going on. MARTA has the bus rapid transit as an initiative right now, and they're locating stops, those future stops throughout the county, specifically areas that would be transit-oriented development, so larger nodes that would have more high-density development in them. There's a Livable Centers Initiative master plan going on along Terra Boulevard right now, so we're looking at what areas they've been focusing in on, what recommendations they have, as well as a study by the Aerotropolis Alliance and the CID looking at the whole Aerotropolis area, which encompasses Clayton County. And so they have some what they're calling catalytic and community sites that are within the county, and those are areas that they're focused on for redevelopment. So we're looking at where those are situated. And then there were certain sites that were identified in the comp plan as areas where we want to see focused development, strategic change. And so we've been able to bring all of that into this study as it overlaps with where there are current county facilities or where we might want to look at future county facilities as well.
So I think this is that overlay, right?
Yep. So
this is actually a composite. If you take what the county has and all the work that the comp plan kind of pulls from an asset map, that's what it's beginning to tell us, if you will. And so that's kind of painting the picture a little bit more granular now, so you see your district itself, and then when you add, some of those other potential development nodes to it, it's just beginning to, kind of tell us a little bit of the story relative to where facilities are today, and other things that may be happening that may, tell you something about where things could potentially be located in the future. So now beginning to talk a little bit more, and this is just to give you an example, we have been talking with the department heads, so we've been coming from, also the point of view of what does the fire station need, what the central services, the tax assessor, all those folks, all the department heads, what do they need from the point of view of space and location, and where might they see potentially the need for new facilities, whether it's library, whether there's fire stations, police. We've got that perspective with us right now and in hand. But today's discussion is really more to listen, and I'm just going to, kind of ground and add one more layer of information because it informs what we're doing. The county has proposed a complex, if you will, that will have multiple phases. The first phase is already under design, and in that first phase there will be an administrative building that at the moment is supposed to carry all this, what we call the central services, tax assessors, all those things, the commissioner and other, you know, community development, those kinds of functions would be in there. I mean, we covered, so any other input that you want to also send us, please do. We'll make sure that we give you cards
Okay, sounds good.
as you look at the information.
Oh.
Think of other things. Now you know our mindset.
Yeah,
Take with you the questions, think about, you know, the public buildings and anything else as you drive around or use a facility you want for us to be up, or if you see something exciting there that Clayton doesn't have, but it would be really cool to have it, let us know.
so when are they planning to have this other facility
Which one?
completed, the big one close to the car?
When does that administration, yeah. There he comes and he will close us
Yeah,
out.
I'll close this out. There you go. So the question is related to the Clayton County Administrative Building.
Okay, so that's what it's called?
That's what we're calling it now, until at some point we end up giving it a name for probably a citizen within Clayton County who's been fairly involved. That building is in the final design phase now. So we anticipate at some point this calendar year putting it out for bid. It's going to take about 24 months to construct it. So sometime into 2026, we're looking at having being occupied. And that will house everybody that's at our current Board of Commissioners building at 112 Smith Street, so the Finance Department, our Legal Department, the actual commissioners, and that public engagement piece where we have our Tuesday night meetings at 6 on the first and third Tuesdays of the month, and the work sessions on the second Tuesday. And then it will also include our Communications Department, and Internal Audit, and our Human Resources Department will also be in that building. And that will anchor, like I said, there will be 3 additional buildings built as we develop out the parcel. There'll be a community engagement piece, so a park in that space, and lots of other amenities. But thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And everybody have a good night. Thank you.